Hello everyone, it's Cody, and because I subscribe to the philosophy that friends don't let friends open seed packets by themselves, I have two small orders that I would like to open with you today. The first one is from M.I. Gardener. They have a seed store. They have a phenomenal YouTube channel with tutorials on how to grow certain types of crops from beginning to end, how to prune your grapevines, growing in containers, growing in raised beds. Check them out. Years and years of hard work. They just bought a farm in Michigan. MI is Michigan, and are in the process of growing hundreds of heirloom fruit trees. I grew a lot of their seeds last year. Excellent germination rate, really good product. So I'm more than happy to purchase from them again. And it looks, this is not that package. Yes, this is M.I. Gardener package. And their seed packets, almost all of them are $2. You cannot find a better price. And if you buy a certain amount, the shipping for seeds, if it's just a seed order, it's free. So I think that's why I have so many in this orders. I put in what I wanted and then was only a little bit away from free shipping, so I went and got some more. Alright, first off, we have the complimentary M.I. Gardener salad bowl mix, a premium artisan blend of greens that will rival any salad mix from the store. I was planning on growing salad greens this winter. The Alberta Clipper just arrived. I think I'm too late, even if I try to grow them under a cold frame. Okay, lemon balm. So lemon balm is supposed to be as crazy invasive as mint. So I have some places in my yard where the only thing that grows is thistles. And going in there and pulling them out, if I get it on my skin, it starts to burn. I don't know if it's an allergy. I don't know if it's just these microscopic needles embedding themselves into me, but the last couple of times that I've tried to weed this one corner in the back, I've had to throw my stuff down, run in the house, and shower to get it off of me. So my plan is to grow some of this and then plant it in that corner and hope that the lemon balm takes over, because those thistles suck. Now, peas. Sugary and snap peas. I don't like peas, historically. I grew up eating a lot of those frozen vegetables, the corn, green beans, carrots and peas mix, or corn and carrots and peas. What's the one with the green? It might be called Green Giant. Anyways, that's what I grew up eating. That was what my family could afford to give us vegetables. So I don't like peas because they're mushy, but I'm hoping I will like homegrown snap peas. And for peas, they need to be kissed by a touch of frost for the absolute best flavor. So I'm going to try growing these in early spring and then save some of the seeds. And if they don't grow, or if I'm absolutely in love with homegrown peas, I'll grow again in the fall. My last frost date is the first week of May, and my first frost date is the second week of October. So I have a decently long growing season, and this past year I pushed all over the place. And my brother's godmother, who has been growing in the Midwest for years, my mom, who used to live in the Midwest and had small gardens at various times, both told me, you can't put anything in the ground before Mother's Day. There's a good chance you'll get a blizzard on Mother's Day, which is actually the week after my last frost date, which is an estimation, of course, but then it was unseasonably warm from like March until May. So, and I was seeing all of these, I'm watching all these videos, Roots and Refuge Farm, Am I Gardener, Epic Gardening, talking about winter sowing and what plants actually taste better when they experience a little bit of frost. Not obviously a hard freeze, but a little bit of frost. Like your brassicas, your carrots, your other root vegetables. Plants that you're not going to be eating the fruit, which is the part with the seeds. You're going to be eating the roots or the leaves, where the plant is storing sugars for when it's warmer and it can try and produce the fruit. So there was a plan to grow a winter garden. A combination of fibromyalgia, schedule change to third shift. As you can see, I am in my cubicle. And seasonal depression kind of ruined those plans. I'm still in the process of putting my garden to sleep for the winter. I was out a couple of days ago digging holes to plant the very last of my garlic because I accidentally double ordered it and didn't know where I wanted to put it. And then finally it was like, okay, there's this much frost in the ground. Like, it was not easy to trowel those holes. You need to get this in the ground or it's just going to be wasted. And it may be wasted because it's so cold already, but if I just left it on the basement stairs where I had been storing it because it's cool, fairly cool right there, if I just left it there, it would be wasted anyway, so I might as well try. We'll see what happens. This one's one that I picked because it just looked interesting. Toothache plant. It has natural properties that will numb the tongue and mouth to ease discomfort. So we'll mess with it, see what happens. It's a bushing plant, so growing it in a pot would be good. Oh, I saw this thing on Facebook. It said the best gift for the plant lovers in your life is not another plant. It's a pot. And I would like to add a rider onto that saying a medium or large size pot, because we all have the little dinky plastic, this is a Dixie cup, but you know, the little plastic cups that plants come with from the store. But when it comes time to up pot them, then you're bashing drainage holes in the bottom of your bathroom trash cans because you don't have anything that size, and pots can get pretty expensive, especially if you're trying not to use plastic. So if you have a plant lover, find them some really pretty ceramic or even metal pots and gift them those for the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, what have you. Common English thyme. This is one that I want to use for kind of a ground cover. I think it's creeping. Pretty sure it's a creeping plant. And it's a perennial in my zone. My zone is 5B. If you watch, blanking on the name of her channel, there is a Chicago patio gardener who I just started following on YouTube. Her zone is 6A. She is actually in the city, hence the patio gardening. And so she's getting the lake effect weather. I am out west past the airport, so I'm getting everything that blows in off the cornfields. Airports, if you are not aware, make their own weather. So you will usually have, it's usually doing one thing west of O'Hare, one thing at O'Hare, and then something else east of O'Hare. So I'm in 5B because I don't get the lake effect. Oh, this is also another one that I'm gonna grow. It is mixed color sorghum broom corn. Look how lovely that is. Now it's a grain, and the birds and I, they took a big chunk out of my blacktip ornamental wheat plants, and they basically ate all my corn. So this will be at risk, but I want to, like, it, you know, shades of brown, red, rust, orange, yellow, gold. I want to try and time it so that it's ready to harvest in the fall for fall decorations. It's so pretty. But, you know, the birds may end up eating all of it. Maybe if they stuff themselves on this, they won't eat the corn this year. Because I am going to try to grow corn again. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. I'm not gonna, I tried growing it in, I tried doing the traditional Three Sisters mounds, you know, 4 corn stalks, and then, beans growing up them, and then a squash growing out, and that it was a giant failure. Possibly mostly because of the birds, but, yeah, not doing it again. I'm gonna block plant the corn this year, and I need to be very careful where I plant it in the back, because my neighbors, I didn't realize this, but they're growing corn behind the garage next to me, so I need to make sure that we are far enough apart that we're not cross-pollinating. Like, I may actually bring my patch closer to the garage this year so that the wind is blowing. It's a west wind. So yeah. And then I think I'm going to plant a different variety of corn in the bed up by the very front corner of my house by the driveway. Because I am that millennial bitch growing corn in her front yard. I don't know what varieties are in the freezer, which is where all my corn is right now, but I'll figure it out. It'll be an ornamental and it'll be an edible variety, I think. Bells of Ireland. Green flowers, so cool. Just have to give them a shot. Aster, I love aster plants. I've tried ordering bare root ones before and they've never taken, so maybe I'll have better luck growing from seed. I also have a different variety from Baker Creek that I ordered too late to try last year. Bronze leaf fennel. I bought this one mainly because there are certain varieties of butterflies that this is food for, and we love a pollinator in my yard. The number of butterflies and hummingbirds and bees, all those fat little bumblebees that visited me this past year was awesome. Just sitting there, you know, drinking my water, waiting for, I'm at work, so I have to kind of monitor the email box. Sue is just harassing a trucker for a POD. Anyways, just watching hummingbirds go from flower to flower as I'm taking a break from working in the yard was magical. I wish I would have been able to film it, but it's a hummingbird and it was quite a ways away. Forage. Second year to try this. Last year, I purchased some seeds from a small Canadian company that I'm not going to name. The seeds were older. I don't think Canada has the same rules about you have to sell your seed the year it's packed for, which is why there are dates. See this one, I don't know if you'll be able to read it, but this is packed for 2025. M.I. Gardner has to sell all of these seeds before the end of 2025. The seeds don't necessarily expire, but the germination rate may go down. And the seeds I got from the small seed company in Canada, the germination rate sucked. I didn't get any borage. I got the 2 foxglove plants, which has been a massive struggle to keep alive. It's like every time I think they're dead, I move them someplace else and they come back. So, really tempted, if the ground were not already frozen, I'm tempted to take them out of the bed they're in, which needs a lot more soil put in, and move them to the giant hole in the backyard. I may do that anyways, because I want to put because I want to put some like sweet peas, which are ornamental, and some other flowers that have to be cold stratified in that bed. But to do that, I have to put in like the bed subsided quite a bit. It's only like 2/3 filled, and obviously that would bury the foxglove that's in there now. So maybe I'm planning on winter sowing in milk jugs some seeds. Maybe I'll do that there and then transplant into the bed. Or maybe I'll just uproot the foxglove and then put it right back. Or maybe I'll go put it in the hole. And when I say hole, I mean there is a sinkhole in the back of my yard. There was I live in a house that's over 100 years old. And at some point in the 20s or 30s, there was a burn pit. And then a couple years ago, a very industrious groundhog was expanding its burrow across the backyard and intersected the burn pit, and the ground caved in. And I came home from work and I let the dog out and I let the dog back in, and I look out across the yard and there's this giant pile, and she had been out of dirt, and she had been outside for maybe 25, not even 20, maybe 5 minutes. And I'm like, she did, small dog, did not have enough time to excavate that much dirt. And so I go out there, and not only is it dirt, but it is bone. There is old glass, like whole bottles, and charcoal and rusted metal bits. And it was one of the... I'm standing there, and I call my dad, and I'm like, what the ever-living fuck? And I did not call the cops. I sorted through the bones, and everything that I found matched a cut of meat. So it was very obviously this is what had come from the butcher. I used to work in a restaurant where a lot of our meat was butchered on site. So I know what ossobuco looks like, even if the bones have been in the ground for 80 plus years. But because there were some intact bottles, there was a Heinz ketchup bottle in there, but that wasn't much of a help because Heinz patented that octagonal bottle shape in the 1890s. But there was a bottle of laxative that, because of the way the bottle was manufactured, because of the fact that it had a certain type of a cork rather than a screw cap, because the company had changed their name several times, it's probably from the 20s or 30s. So really cool. I kept all the bottles that were mostly intact, and they are now decoration in my house. But there's a giant hole in the yard, and I've just been throwing random stuff in it, including chunks of concrete, to keep the groundhogs from doing more damage. But I'd like to start planting flowers and stuff around it. And I also need to make a sign so no one falls in it. I know it's there. I've alerted my neighbors to its existence because the neighbors directly behind me have a small grandchild who, at the time of the collapse, could fit in that hole. That's how big that burrow is. So, forage. Going to try again. MI Gardener, much better germination rates. Like, I grew a lot of their stuff this year, and it was good. It was a good deal. Black Nebula carrot. Tried to grow these this past April. Roly-polies ate my seedlings. I know that's controversial. I watched the little buggers do it. However, I learned that roly-polies, this was too late to save my carrots, but I learned roly-polies like beer. They will drown themselves in beer. So yes, I will be throwing a roly-poly kegger when I plant these out. And hopefully we'll get to eat the stunningly purple-black carrots, which turn bright pink if you add a splash of lemon juice. I'm excited because you're not going to find this at Jewel Osco or Aldi or even the local garden store, the local grocery by me, or the little tiny Mexican bodega by me. This is something you have to grow to experience. Maybe you could find it at a farmer's market. I don't know. And then this, like peas, I don't like beans. However, I thought I would give them a shot. These are Midnight Black Turtle Bush Bean. If nothing else, the beans look really cool. They will be dried. My mother does, I have 2 small nieces. My mother does art projects with them when she's babysitting. I would send these to her if I don't like them, and the nieces can glue them to things as decoration. I know, kind of weird. But these are the things I have to think about. You know, if I just got your standard lima beans to try, well, what would I do if I hated them? Or if, like I learned, you know, with the tomatoes, where, you know, for years, I hate tomatoes. They're watery, they're squishy, they don't have, the flavor isn't good enough to, you know, push through the texture to eat them. But you grow them yourself, they taste a lot better. However, you know, the first that came ripe were the little sun gold cherry tomatoes. Makes sense, they're tiny fruit. And I would be, you know, out working in the garden, mowing the lawn. I'd just wander by and snack on some, 1 or 2. And I'd noticed that my tongue hurt. And it was one of those things, it's like, is this a canker sore? Or did I just bite my tongue in my sleep? And then the big Cherokee purple slicer tomatoes became ripe. And I made brown butter tomatoes. And it was really good. And I got a chemical burn on my tongue and couldn't eat anything that required chewing or that was warm for like half a week. So, no tomatoes for me, which was disappointing. However, I will be growing some. I will be offering to start seeds for several of my friends. One of my friends has always had issues getting her seeds to start and then producing fruit. Like it never seems to grow fast enough for her. But I gave her some plants last year and they took off. And she actually forgot that you had to stake up tomatoes until they were like spilling out of their bed across the yard. And then I will also be growing cherry tomatoes because I would bring them to work and just set a bowl over by the coffee station for my coworkers to snack on. And like one coworker was like, "What did you do to these? These are delicious. You know, how, you know, this flavor is amazing." One coworker, it was just like, and then the company officer who shares an office with us, his wife didn't believe he was eating so many